So we are in chapter 6 and shloka number 191. So what is the context? A little of not recapitulation, little Anyonadhyasa. Anyonadhyasa means, see, this light is glowing, falling on me, and that shines, that it is because of that light that also reflected on it. So this is Anyonadhyasa. Like light of sun falls on moon. That's why it glows. That shine also gives a shine to sun. So this is Anyonadhyasa. Now Brahman is beyond all causes. So there it is unity. But we see multiplicity. When we see multiplicity, what is the cause? That is the exploration that we are doing. We see this created universe, and we see we are also created. So this is because of something this has happened. What is that? So we generally say he is God, or from Vedantic standpoint, he is Ishvara. So Brahman, when he is Nishkriya, why Nishkriya? Because he has no condition, he is beyond all conditions, beyond all limits. When one is beyond all limits, his existence, we are also existing. Just let us think about it. We exist. When we have existence, that means what? This existence, over that existence, something is superimposed. I am talking. I am feeling that I am there. I am Swami Chandrasekharananda. So all these adjuncts falls on that awareness, consciousness. And whatever is aware and conscious, it is not limited. But whatever falls on this awareness, consciousness, that is limited. But because of this limitation, because of this awareness that I am Swami Chandrasekharananda, somehow, as if Brahman also gets entangled. Like a sun is shining on moon, and that glow, because of sun, goes to sun also. So this is Anyonadhyasa. When there is Anyonadhyasa, so what happens? I am existing. So what we have to meditate in this way. I am existing, and I am observing my existence. Things are coming, things are going. I am not attached with those. And let us persevere, wait for a time. Something will happen because of vagaries of mind, and also will have idea of past and future, past, present, and future. But all this is happening on the screen that is ourselves. So I am not involved at all, but somehow I think I'm involved. So this is the creation. So because as we are patient, as we contemplate, what happens? Mind gradually settles down. Mind gradually, this mind has flow. On this flow, is observed, then gradually it settles down. It quietens. And when it is quiet and settled down, we are aware, more aware of our real self. So that is Satyam Jnanam, whatever is truth. And this truth is knowledge. When I exist, this knowledge is there. So Satyam, this knowledge, this awareness. When we say knowledge, knowledge of something else, no. This is Swaswarupa Jnana. When we give example of light, sun is Swayam Prakasha. Sun is Swayam Prakasha. Similarly, we are also Swayam Prakasha, self-illumined. And when we are self-illumined, because of that, whatever is created, that shines. A magician is there. He is self-known. He knows his tricks. So what happens, he applies that knowledge. First, he is self-illumined. Then he applies his knowledge in his tricks. And because of that tricks, and when he's applying, as if he is a creator also. So what is Ishvara that we have conceived? Ishvara is Sarvagya, all-knowing. Magician knows all of his tricks, when to do what to say, to draw our attention, and and he knows when he'll bluff us. So he knows everything. Similarly, Lord also knows everything because of his tricks. So that trick is called Maya. Maya has no independent existence. So awareness consciousness falls on that, and as if it illumines, as if that Brahman gets involved as Ishvara. Brahman gets involved as Ishvara, but he shines only. Because of his shine, it looks like he's creating, preserving, and destroying. But in reality, he's not doing anything. There is no change in him. Change is happening. Say the magician, no change there. But because of his knowledge, he as if creates change. So how to meditate? How we can understand this? When we concentrate, gradually mind settles down. When mind settles down, then we are more aware of ourselves. Jnanam, Satyam, awareness of our own self. Being, I am that being. On that, these words are coming and going. Thoughts are coming, going. Emotions are coming and going. Everything trails away. So truth alone abides. Truth alone abides. On that, this creation as if happening. I give example of some story. I tell a story that a prince goes to, he rides on his horse and he goes into a forest and he loses his way. And then all of a sudden he sees a palace and he enters there, but nobody was there. Then he found in one corner there is a princess, and she was unconscious. And by doing this and that, gradually the princess gets up. See now, these are only words, but you must have imagined that there is a prince, and he goes into forest, and then he enters in that palace. So all these are because of my presence, these are happening. Because of your presence, this is happening, as it were. So this and that influences also, like as if it influences. So this is the Anyonadhyasa. And whatever is free, that is love. Whatever is free. Because, a slave cannot love anyone. Slave is afraid. Therefore, the free person must be without fear, fearless. And who is fearless, he alone can really love and enjoy, means bliss. So Sat Chit Ananda. So here this is being said. Now let us go back to our shloka. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Yad Brahma Tasmat Samuttitaha Kham Vayu Agnir Jalo Vibodha. So everything, see, like I created a story. It's a cock and bull story. Nothing, there is nothing, no prince. Only few words, but you have imagined. And David always tells me that, Swami, you never complete your story. So, in reality, there is nothing. These are only stories. To just give an example. So, that who is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, as if from that everything emanates. What emanates? Kham, Vayu, Kham, Vayur, Jalo, that Tasmat Itat Jayate. What is that? Akashat Vayu, Vayur Agni Rapaha, Apaha Prithvi, etc. So everything, like from I know some trick, and with that trick I created story, and in that story a princess is also there. Must be there is a prince and palace. And why she was lying there? Because a demon came and killed everyone except that princess. And there are two rods are there. One is iron rod, one is golden rod. So when the placing of golden and iron rod is changed, then only the princess will rise. So demons has done this. Now we can see, because of my story, you have imagined the whole environment, all the materials. So this is the effect of Maya. Though there is nothing, but it creates some imagination. So, Kham, Vayu, Agnir, Jalo, Ushadaya. So this is all this we have studied in Taittiriya Upanishad. Akashat, Vayu, Vayu, Agni, Rapah, Apah, Prithvi. Then Tasmat va etasmat akashah sambhutah. So from him, say, like I was telling story. So as if in that story, Akash, space, air, all these the components are uh, uh, has come or have come into existence. So Akashat Vayu, Vayu Agni, Agnirapah, Adbhya Prithvi, Prithibhyam Oshadaya, Oshadibhyo Anyam, Annat Purusha. So from that Purusha, etc., everything is created. So awareness, consciousness, bliss, this is the only reality. On that, all are imagined. Okay, so what is the translation? Let us go to translation. to go quickly. Okay. Hmm. So the Vedas declare Brahman to be truth, knowledge, and infinity, and also that speech and the other organs cannot grasp it. Thus, it is determined that Brahman is associationless. Oh, we have jumped. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. The Shruti explains clearly that from Brahman, who is truth, knowledge, and infinity, arose Akasha, air, fire, water, earth, herbs, food, bodies, and so forth. So now next, superficially, it looks as if Brahman were the cause of the world and the Ishvara were a real entity. This cannot be explained except by the mutual superimposition. So, see, I am the person and I am the storyteller. And story gave the impression that I was affected, but actually I was not affected. I just told a story, but because I knew that this is only a story. So superficially, it looks as if Brahman were the cause of the world. Brahman is not the cause of the world, but it looks like that. That Ishvara were a real entity. But in reality, what happened? This cannot be explained except by the mutual superimposition. So, Brahman, because of Brahman, it's a self-shining. Swayam Jyoti. Swayam Jyoti means self-illumined. We are self-illumined. I am aware. You are aware of yourself. This is Swayam Jyoti. And because of this awareness, because of the impulse to create something, we create. But because of that creation, I am not affected by that. I am not affected by the creation. Similarly, Brahman is not affected by creation. Only in his presence things happen. And when in his presence something happens, we consider he is God. So it is because of mutual superimposition of the true nature of Brahman on Ishvara and the creativity of Ishvara on Brahman. So this is our superimposition. We also can think that I am a storyteller. I am not attached with it. I know it is only story. But somehow, as if the character of the story may think that I am the creator. So anyway, let us go forward. Anyunnadhyasa rupaha. In a piece of cloth, stiffness stiffened with starch. The starch become one with the cloth. So, by the process of mutual superimposition, the ignorant conceive Ishvara to be one with Paramatman. Why the author is so emphatic on this? Because if Brahman becomes Ishvara, then what will happen? Ishvara is creating, preserving, and absorbing. That means he is a doer. But according to Vedanta, Brahman is not a doer. He shines. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Because it shines, everything shines. So, here that is being said. In in a piece of cloth. Now example is like it started, the chapter started with this, in a canvas where you have to paint. So you stiffened it by starch. So in a piece of cloth stiffened with starch, the starch becomes one with the cloth. So by the process of mutual superimposition, the ignorant conceives Ishvara to be one with Paramatman. So here, our story is better to understand. Our story. That I told the story, people may think that I am affected by that. But actually, I am not affected. I know it is all story. David said, Swami, your story never ends. You never complete your story. Because I am giving I'm saying this only for example. Anyway, Megha Akasha Mahakashu. Now another example, very nice example. Here, they will improve on this. Megha Akasha means space in the cloud. And space, Mahakasha means outer space. As the dull-witted imagine that the Akasha reflected in a cloud is the Akasha absolute. So the undiscriminating do not see the distinction between Brahman and Ishvara. So Megha Akasha, space in a cloud, and space Mahakasha. So people think it is different. Our example is good. As Sri Ramakrishna gave and Swamiji gave, Swamiji. There is a curtain and there is a hole. Hole means space. So people think that hole is different from outer space. Swamiji gave in a different way. Okay, another example we can relate. We have windows, and windows have various shapes. Some are circular, some are square, or any shape. And through that shape, we see a space. And a person may think, those who are ignorant may think, this space is different than the outer space. But in reality, it is the same space being seen in two different ways. So ignorant people may think that the Ishvara and so let me read that. As the dull-witted imagine that the Akasha reflected in the cloud is the Akasha absolute. So the indiscriminating do not see the distinction between Brahman and Ishvara. So here we see space. Now let us take this way also. So whatever we see space in or through window, so that looks of that shape, rectangular or square or whatever it may be. And outer, there is no limitation. So Ishvara has taken the that part of, say, like I am a storyteller, so I took the part of storyteller. So this way one can think separately, but both ultimately it is the same. As the dull-witted imagine that the Akasha reflected in the cloud is the Akasha absolute, so that in undiscriminating do not see the distinction between the Brahman and Ishvara. So this, why it is being said this way? Because though it looks like distinct, but in reality, the square space does not exist. It is the same space that exists. And people see in two different ways. So Ishvara is attributed with the creation, preservation, and absorption. Whereas Brahman is without attribute, without any limit, without any borrowed shine. So now next, by deep inquiry and by the application of the rules of interpretation to the Vedic text, we come to know that Brahman is associationless and unconditioned by Maya, whereas Ishvara is the creator conditioned by Maya. When he accepts, say, when I am a storyteller, as if I am conditioned by my storytelling. So, what are this is 6 linga, Shada linga. What is linga? The sign. If you see smoke, smoke is sign. What sign? That there must be fire. That's why we see smoke. So that's called linga. Linga means sign. So Shadavidh linga, 6 kinds of linga is there. What are those? That upakrama, upasanghar. So what are those? Upakrama, upasanghar, abhyasa, apurvata, phalam. So upakram is in the beginning, whenever some teaching starts, like Upanishad, there is, say, prelude or the beginning sentences. And upasanghar means conclusion. So introduction and conclusion must be same. Upakrama, upasanghar. And abhyas. Abhyas means repeated instruction, saying the same instruction again and again. Like Tattvamasi, 9 times we are told. That is repetition, abhyas. Upakrama, upasanghar, abhyas, apurvata. Apurvata means that this has not been said anywhere. This truth was not revealed by any other pramana. Pramana means evidence. It is through only Veda Vachana. That means the words of Veda. So that's Apurvata. And Phalam, it must have some result. So anyway, these are the way to understand thing. So here Upakramadi bhi lingaihi tatparyasya vicharanat, by deep inquiry and by the application of the rules of interpretation to the Vedic text, we come to know that Brahman is associationless and unconditioned by Maya, whereas Ishvara is the creator conditioned by Maya. I am a storyteller, I am not affected. I am not conditioned by my story. Now, when I tell a story, as if my skill of storytelling gets involved, so that storytelling is the trick or the skill is Maya. And somehow that is why it is like Savishesha, individualized with some adjuncts of creation, preservation, and when I say, oh, this is only a story, so I destroy that. So this is because of that, Ishvara as if different from Brahman. Ultimately, Ishvara is what? Only his presence. Brahman's, the presence of Brahman. Because of that, he creates, preserves, and absorbs. So 6 rules, let me read it because then it will be repeated. The 6 rules, the Upakrama, Upasanhara, Abhyasa, Apurvata, Phala, Arthavad, and Upapatti. The commencement and conclusion in the Chandogya Upanishad both speak of Brahman. So that is Upakrama, Upasanhara. Their repetition of Tattvamasi is even 9 times. The peculiar characteristic of Brahman are known from Shruti alone. Other instruments of knowledge, unknown to other instruments of knowledge. Number 4, the result of knowledge is freedom from suffering of delusion. Number 5, praise to the knowledge of Brahman and blame to ignorance are often met with. So, and the 6th is adequate arguments and apt illustrations are also given in the Upanishads. So these are 6 signs. So we go forward. Anytime, if I'm not clear in any point, please don't hesitate to ask. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Chet now comes. The Vedas declare Brahman to be truth, knowledge, and infinity, and also that speech and the other organs cannot grasp it. Yato vacho nivartanti aprapya manasasaha. So speech and mind, without getting it, returns. Yato vacho nivartanti aprapya manasasaha. So this is the Shruti. So declare Brahman to be truth, knowledge. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Satyam. We are in reality truth. I am. This is my existence. And I'm aware of my existence. I am. I'm aware that I'm existing. Satyam. And this is knowledge. When I know that I am existing, Satyam, Jnanam, and I am free. Anantam. Anantam is without any limitations. But what happens when we are embodied? We think, no, I am Swami so and so, or I am Mr. so and so, and I have this body. Body is only a thought. So let us think about it. Generally, we think we are bodies. But idea of body is in our mind. When anesthesia is applied and operation is done, we don't know that there is pain. Though I can see that they are operating. So idea of sensation, Vedana, is in our mind. So is that final? No. This idea of mind is also in me. I am the reality. And sometimes this mind also disappears. When we go to deep sleep, this idea of mind also absorbed in me. So mind is not me. I am without any adjunct. But that something is there, that trick, that is what we call Maya. And because of that, it also affects us. We have studied that earlier. As if it affects us. Actually, it does not affect. But somehow we may listen this 1,000 times. But again, it will come back. So this happens, anyonadhyasa. Okay. So thus it is determined that Brahman is associationless. Okay, now we go to the next. Mayi srijati vishwam sanniruddhastatra mayaya. So another Shruti says, the Ishvara, the Lord of Maya. Say, I am a storyteller. So I am the Lord of my story. So creates the universe, creates my story. Whereas the Jiva is controlled by Maya. So Jiva, see, like that my prince or princess is being controlled by storytelling. So Ishvara associated with Maya is the creator. So when this awareness is associated with my skill of storytelling, then the creation happens. So Brahman, though unaffected, unconditioned, but sometimes he wants to tell some story. He does not. But it's like, Eko ham bahut syam prajayeya. I am alone. Let me tell a story, write a story. So I write a story. So Brahman writes a story. So though Brahman is not affected by that. So let us go forward. Anandamaya Ishoyam Bahusyam Itya, like same thing. As the deep sleep state passes into dream state, so Ishvara, who is known as the sheath of bliss, transforms himself into Hiranyagarbha. When he, the one, wills to be many. So when, see, like we are in deep sleep and something happens, then we are a bit aware. And then we want to, oh, where am I? In my room, this is my chair, this is my table, this is my computer, and this and that. So Ishvara comes to Hiranyagarbha when he creates. All this is not happening, but in our story it is happening. The prince went to jungle and there he found that palace. So this is happening as it were. So as the deep sleep state passes into dream state, so Ishvara, who is known as the Shita bliss, transforms himself into Hiranyagarbha. So what is Ishvara? Anandamaya Kosha. That means he is reflected on Anandamaya Kosha. Brahman reflected on Anandamaya Kosha is Ishvara. And when he comes to Mahat or that dream state, then he becomes Hiranyagarbha. He creates, preserves, and also absorbs. Any question? Akshay, any question?
Like, what does it mean that it is reflected on Anandamaya Kosh?
Ishvara, that we have studied, you were not in that. So Ishvara is considered, see, like I want to create for my own pleasure a story. I created my story, though to give example here. But a author writes a story. For what? For his pleasure. Swanta Sukhaya. Why Tulsidas wrote Ramayana? Swanta Sukhaya. For his own satisfaction, enjoyment. So God, what is God? God is not right word. Brahman is unattached. So somehow that all the skills are there in me, all these storytelling skill or whatever is there. So what happened that because of the proximity of bliss, he wants to enjoy. Actually, that wants is also not there, because then the kartritva will come, the doership will come. But because of the proximity, it shines, it is joy. So Ishvara, so Brahman is unaffected by anything. Ishvara is with Anandamaya Kosha, sheath of bliss. So when the shine of Brahman falls on Anandamaya Kosha, we call him Ishvara. And when that passes to the next stage, Mahat or dream state, then the desire comes to create. Then you see dreams. And then you see this world. So this is, you have to find within yourself. You are listening this class. When you are listening, still you are not affected by it. Your presence, because of your awareness in your presence, so what is happening? You are absorbing some ideas. Similarly, when the shine of Brahman falls on Anandamaya Kosha, the Shita bliss, then he is called Ishvara. So when this happens, Rabindranath Tagore used to lift his mind to that, and highest creation can be possible when one lifts oneself to that state. And then whatever he writes, that appeals universally. If I write or if you write, it may not affect that way. But if you can lift yourself, say Swamiji, when Swamiji spoke, he lifted himself to that state, Anandamaya Kosha. So he was beside himself with full of Ananda, joy. And whatever he spoke touched the hearts of people. Sri Ramakrishna, he lifted himself, or he's already there. He himself, otherwise he's full of samadhi. He would go to samadhi at the drop of his hat, though he did not wear a hat. So he's not affected by anything. But then he wanted to enjoy the company of devotees. So what happened? So that state we can call him Ishvara. That's why Sri Ramakrishna is God, Ishvara. So this is the proximity. Because of proximity of Anandamaya Kosha, we call him God. And you also, you see how you understand God. First you have to understand yourself. Within you, someone is there who is not affected by anything. But then when you are a bit not mindful, then you are entangled. Then you want to do this or that. So does it happen in Ishvara? No. What happens? Happens by his will. Even will also forms because of the proximity of Brahman. In its shine, even this creation, preservation, and destruction, these are also possible. Anyway, you have to contemplate over it. Then gradually it will be clear. Now, as the deep sleep state passes into dream state, so Ishvara, who is known as the sheath of bliss, transforms himself into Hiranyagarbha. When he, the one, wills to be many. Ekoham bahusyama. I am alone. Let me be many. Let me be many. and he becomes many. Then he dreams. And when it is concretized further, then he wakes up and he goes for, you know, that job, his duties. Okay, we go to next. Kramena Yugapat Daisha. Yugapat Aisha Srishti. Srishti Gya Yatha Shruti. There are two types of Shruti text describing the creation of the world either as gradual evolution or as instantaneous. There is no contradiction for the dream. A dream world sometimes arises gradually out of deep sleep, but at other times it arises um, instantaneously. So you can come from your deep sleep to sleep and then waking state, or immediately you can get up. Kramena and Yugapat. Yajnaha kratavah vrtani bhutam bhavyam yaccha veda vadanti. So anyway, we'll go to. So this is the way the creation happens by or from God, and Kramena, God means Ishvara here. Kramena Yud. So sometimes it is immediate or sometimes gradually. So both are okay. Both are right. Okay, we go to the next. Now, Sutratma, Shukshma Dehakhya, Sarvabij Jiva, Sarvajiva Ghanatmakaha, Hiranyagarbha or Sutratman, otherwise called the subtle body, is the totality of the subtle bodies of all jivas. He conceives himself as the totality of all egos or I consciousness, like the threads of piece of cloth, and he is said to be endowed with the powers of volition, conation, and cognition. So, what is then Sutratma? When say we have this gross body, and then we have subtle body, mind, intellect, etc. So gross body, subtle body. Suppose you have also gross body, subtle body. So there is one is Veshti. Veshti means individual. One is collective. Collective means taking all together. So Sutratma, who is pervading in all being as subtle body. So Hiranyagarbha or Sutratman, otherwise called the subtle body, is the totality of the subtle bodies of all jivas. See, I am a storyteller. We can see I am Brahman. Yes, I am Brahman.
Brahman made you the storyteller.
Now, within me, I am Brahman.
A storyteller telling a story.
Yeah. So, within me, I am unattached. I am like Brahman. Not like, I am Brahman. Okay. When I storytell, then I am the creator. Then I further, when I'm telling a story, what is happening? Prince, princess, horse, forest, all these are being created. And prince, princess, and the servants, etc., or whatever. So all those are also taken collectively. You may think that this is collective production. So Hiranyagarbha or Sutratman, otherwise called the subtle body, is the totality of subtle bodies of all jivas. Say painter, now take another. Painter paints a horse, a cow, human being, environment. So everything that painter creates. So all those are the part of that subtle body. So Hiranyagarbha or Sutratman, otherwise called as subtle body, is the totality of all subtle bodies of all jivas. He conceives himself as the totality of all egos or I. So in the paint, or the storyteller or the painter, he may identify with all the individuals there. That's how he creates. So now character 1 should say this, character B should say this, and he asks a question, he doubts, then he answers. So all this is in the storyteller. So anyway, he conceives himself as the totality of egos or I consciousness, like the threads of a piece of cloth, and he is said to be endowed with the powers of volition, cognition, and cognition. So pratyusheva pradosheva magno mande tamasyayam. The world in its course of evolution comes to rest in Hiranyagarbha. But at this stage, it is indistinct, just as an object seen in partial darkness at dawn or dusk. So this is like the world in its course of evolution comes to rest in Hiranyagarbha. So like before painting, before telling the story is in my mind, in my subtle body. Before painting, the whole idea is in the painter's mind. It is not distinct, like, that later it comes living, and with the stroke of brushes, sometimes black, sometimes yellow, sometimes these other colors, then it becomes clear. But before that, it may not be that clear when it is in mind. When I have the plot of story, then it may not be distinct. But when I say something, like when I write the story, then it is distinct. That's being said. Okay, we go forward. As the outlines of a picture are drawn in black pencil on a stiffened piece of canvas, so also the subtle bodies indistinctly appear in Hiranyagarbha. Okay. Next, like a tender offshoot of germinated corn, or like a tender plant sprouting Hiranyagarbha, is the tender bud of the world which is still indistinct. In a dream also, dream is not very distinct. And the storyteller, the story as he writes, he develops, then links with other. It happened, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, he wrote, and the famous detective Sherlock Holmes died.
Moriarty killed him, threw him off the cliff.
Yeah, Marriott threw him from the cliff, and he died. But the people forced him to write again. So what? that Sherlock Holmes did not die. He was hanging, holding a branch. So what is the point? The point is that thought was not distinct, but later it was developed. As one keeps on writing, then thoughts is clearer, and even he keeps on adding. So it is like that. Like a tender offshoot of germinated corn, or like a tender plant sprouting Hiranyagarbha, is the tender bud of the world which is still indistinct. So he has given another example, like a sprouting seed. So when it is very small, you cannot see the whole tree there. But tree is there within that. In course of time, that germinates and develops in a full-grown tree. Okay, we go forward. In Virat, the world appears distinct and shining, like the objects in broad daylight, or like the figures of a fully painted picture, or the fruit of a fully matured tree. In Virat, all the gross bodies are plainly seen. So Virat means this whole world. Now we can see Brahman is unaffected, unconditioned, unlimited, infinite, Satyam, truth. In its presence, the Ishwaratva happens. And also the causal body is formed. In its presence, then that causal body as if becomes the subtle body, and gradually subtle body becomes the gross body, and then the story is fully told or fully painted. So this is the creation. So we see this, but in reality we are that truth which is not affected. So this is to be contemplated. Vishwarupadhyaya. Now, in the Vishwarupa chapter and in the Purusha Suktam, there is a description of Virat from the creator Brahma to a blade of grass. All objects in the world form part of Virat. So everything, it is that Virat. Virat means here a technical term that means universal form. Okay, we go forward. So, what we can see in this, all this form, it is that Brahman, the glory of Brahman. Swami Vivekananda said that this whole world is like the interest accrued on the capital. Capital is unaffected, but because of that capital, we get some interest. This whole world is interest. So if we can reverse this, oh, this world is only interest. What is the capital? Let me realize that. That is the incentive. So capital is all pervaded through the interest. Seeing interest, we can conceive the capital. So we have to find that capital which is within us, which is our real self. This creation happening, thoughts are coming, going, time is flowing as it were, time, space, and causation, all these are conceived in this. As in my story also, time, space, and causation was depicted there. Similarly, in this creation also, time, space, and causation is happening as it were. but in reality it is nothing is happening. So I am that self which has not affected in any way. Therefore, one should not be miserable or aggrieved. One should have that, um, um, one should find this and be steeped in it, be one with it. Then there is no suffering. Okay, we go forward. Brahmans, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, O's, cows, horses, and other beasts, birds, and banyan and mango trees, wheat, rice, and other cereals are and grasses. All these are examples. Like this is Vishwarup, the universal form of God. Why it is a universal form? Because in its presence, in His presence, everything is shining, everything is being projected, as it were. So on the screen, we see so many things, but it is because there is a screen, or it is because of light that we see, variation of light. So we have to see the light, not the variation. One should not forget seeing lights, seeing the images, but one should remember to see that light through those images. So all the various castes and these, say Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, cows, horses, and other beasts, birds, fig, banyan, and mango trees, and rice and other cereals and grasses, water, stone, earth, sticks, scissors, axes, and the other implements and manifestations of Ishvara. Worshipped as Ishvara, they grant fulfillment of desires. So if you worship them, actually what is happening? You worship that same divine. Yatha yathupasate tam phalam yuhu tatha tatha. Ye yatha mam prapadante tang sataiva bhajamaham. Only thing we should have the idea that I am worshipping God, I am worshipping Ishvara, or I am uh, contemplating on God or Brahman. I am Brahman. So in Nididhyasana, one will think that all these are not real. I alone am real. But there is no harm if you worship God, Ishvara, because Ishvara is the alter ego of Brahman, reflected complex of Brahman. Therefore, it is the same thing. So, as Sri Ramakrishna said, that when Brahman is not creating, preserving, and absorbing, we call him Brahman. When the same Brahman is creating, preserving, and destroying, we call him Mother Kali. So you can, if you worship Kali, that means what? You are worshipping Brahman. Brahman and Shakti are not different, identical. Obverse and reverse of the same coin. So all this, now whatever you worship in whatever way, that tendency or your inclination, that will give you result. Ye yathamam prapadante tanstataiva bhajamaham. If it is like this. If you go to a store, whatever you ask, the storekeeper will give. Now here it's a shopping mall, you can go and select and bring. Yeah, Amazon. Amazon, you have to write and they'll supply that. Delivery will be free next day. Yeah. Or next or 2 days after that. In whatever form Ishwar is worshipped, the worshipper obtains the appropriate reward through that form. If the method of worship and the conception of the attributes of the deity worshipped are of a high order, the reward also is of a high order. But if otherwise, it is not. So, in Gita, Bhagavan said that the lower people, they worship ghosts, demons, and they get similar results. But those who are my devotees, they will worship me. So those who are Vedantin, they will absorb himself in Brahman and discard all conceived ideas. Discard here does not mean despise. It is to just avoid. Despising means demeaning. But actually it is not demeaning, but to find out one's own real self, one may discriminate. One may analyze and find what is truth, and he sticks to that contemplation or nididhyasana. So we can see, we can also observe ourselves and thought and emotions, how they are coming in front of us and trailing away. But I am not changing. So this we have to identify. Oh, time is up. Okay. Akshay, anything more?
Yes, like is Ishwar and Bhagwan same?
Ishwar and Bhagwan same. When he's creating, preserving, and absorbing, we call him Ishwar or Bhagwan. Mother Kali, Shakti, so Durga, and Rama, Shiva, then Ramakrishna. But all are Brahman with Upadhi, the name and form. But that name and form is very, very transparent. If you look at the eyes of Sri Ramakrishna, then you'll understand that he's totally absorbed in himself. And it is like a glass case. Glass also Belgium glass, very fine. And here you may think that, oh, there is no obstruction. But if you put your hand, then you'll understand that something is obstructing. So avatars are like that glass case, but inside it is shining. In ordinary people, it is like iron case. So light would come out. Now, Sri Ramakrishna gave this example. In Screw Diye, he said the jivas are like they are bound like with screw, and they live in a mud house where light cannot enter, neither anything can come out. So it is like that. That's why we need to contemplate. Then we'll understand. Gradually our thoughts will come and settle down, and then inner self shines. Because of its shine, everything shines. Yes, Mark, anything? Okay. Now you are mute. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So
All is good. Thank you. Thank you.
okay. Now this we have to contemplate, then it's fruitful. All the effort is because of that. Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. We have to live this idea. Nididhyasana. Okay, we say our prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamivavashishvate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. One more thing. This is when our senses are under control. Then what happens? Then mind gradually settles down. If senses are not under control, then mind will go here and there. I want to eat this, I want to enjoy that, like that. And when senses are under control, then gradually one becomes detached. Things will be there. Boat will be in the water, but water will not be in the boat. So we call it asangatto. So first, controlling of senses means chastising senses that not to go there, not to go this, not to want to taste this or enjoy this and that, the cravings. Then comes asangatva, detached. As detachment grows, gradually comes the equanimity. Equanimity. Then one is stable in all conditions. And gradually, when that matures, then comes the idea and realization of unity, that I alone am. In that, everything rising and falling, coming and going. So this starts with our controlling of senses. How that can be done? By prayer, by earnest effort. So prayer brings the mind at the feet of God. And then gradually one can lift oneself from there. And senses will not go here and there. And then comes detachment, then comes equanimity, then comes unity.
So, Maharaj, in case of detachment, people would not even like to leave, right? In
No, no,
this
no.
world. No?
Boat is in the water, water is not in the boat. Mam anusmara yuddhacha. Sri Krishna told Arjuna, you have to fight, but fight and remember me. Mam anusmara. Recite my name and fight it on. Fighting is most involved action. You have to be very careful. Otherwise, other person will kill you. So, fighting is with total involvement, but at the same time, one has to remember God also. And it is possible. Not to think that it's not possible. It is possible. Say, we are talking. At the same time, we can think of our real self. Sri Ramakrishna gave example of toothache. Toothache. So toothache means when you're talking, still tooth is aching.
Mm.
So it is possible. While performing our duties, we can think of our real self. That means at least recite the name of God. That's all same. Because name and the possessor of name are not different.
So, Maharaj, when we are eating because we have attachment to the food.
No, no, no.
But then
That's why.
how do we detach and
No, no,
if
just
you
a
are
minute. Just eating.
uh-huh.
You have given very nice. You know, Sri Ramakrishna once eating. So a lady came, says, Baba, are you eating or you are feeding? So we can feed. Say when you are eating, you offer that. Offer that, I am offering this food to God. Just offer. You'll see, you'll you'll find more joy in offering because you are conscious about that. So it is not that you are eating because you want to eat. It is the impulse of hunger that makes you eat. So what you have to do, say, take morsel of food and offer that God is sitting within you. You are offering to Him. So this way, if you eat, you can see the joy is manifold, and it will not bind you.
Okay, Maharaj, I'm not arguing, but I'm still trying to understand. So, as I'm putting the food in my mouth, I am tasting that food. I am tasting the sweetness, bitterness, whatever it is.
Okay.
It's in my
Let it-
taste, but that it is tasting the food. So, in that case, how can I say I'm
Okay,
offering?
fine. So I do myself, to be frank. Okay.
Yeah.
When I eat, I offer.
Mm.
So when I'm tasting, that also I'm offering. That taste is also offered. That means you are aware that time. You can enjoy in a better way. You see what is happening. Who are you? If you analyze, you won't find yourself. It is God alone who is existing within you. So when you are offering, do it. In the beginning, you can be separate. No problem. Gradually, that also will diminish. That also will go. You can try and see. Say, I'm talking. If I am talking to, say, if I am talking to myself and offering that to God, then it is more enjoyable. You can try and see.
Yes, Maharaj. It's hard, but yeah.
Yeah, difficult, no doubt. And in the
Difficult.
beginning, you will have separate identity, but gradually that will lessen. It will be less and less. You can see this.
So when I'm offering to the fire of God,
No, fire, no,
like
no. You say
no, the
Ramakrishna is
fire, the stomach fire, the burning fire, or no, I'm just offering to Thakur.
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 Thakur is sitting within you. You are
Hmm.
offering to him. You try and see how it changes your total. And then food will be not only taste better, it will nourish you in a better way.
Hmm.
And you will not be hurrying up. You'll masticate and offering. You'll do the same thing and you try and see the difference. Okay, thank you very much.
Swami,
Maharaj, I did not see the book today. I was driving as I was listening to you. So where did we stop today? Which shloka?
2008 or 9, 210, 8,
Two.
I think we got through 209.
9, 10.
229, ready for 210.
And I go back.
Yeah, recapitulate.
Recapitulate. So no problem.
209.
You'll not
Okay.
miss anything. And this is the only topic that we do. Only topic in various ways. And then
Yes.
because it requires practice, so it is okay. David, you are
Swami, if you're not going to finish the story, at least you have to do a new story.
okay, one day I'll try. But here, I'm not here for storytelling. Okay. This is only example. But anyway, I understand. It leaves you unsatisfied. I understand. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay,
That-
Pranam.
Leave that craving to listen that story.
That's like the TV series. They always leave you hanging, so you'll come back to the next show.
Correct, correct.
True.
Okay.